Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 40. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report, where once again another week have gone by. We actually also entered into the month of October. Things are going fast and furious, and obviously we're going to have a closer look exactly what has happened in the past week on our different platforms and also on the trading platforms, of course. We're going to have a look through everything here today. But first of all, we're going to tell you here that the test for the bell trading EA robot coming out of Expert Forex, that was only for a week, and that has already basically finished. This time around we have had a good play with it, and we're also going to show you just a few graphical pictures in there of exactly how that particular one works. Now, there's also been some news. Last week we actually reported there was going to be a video here regarding the CEO of Trillant. That has been there. He has spoken, and it looks like we have a lot of new things coming out, changes on the platform, everything else. So if you are a Trillant member, then definitely you don't want to miss this particular update, because there's quite a few things that we have to do, and there's also certain deadlines in here that we're going to try and raise for you. Last but not least, obviously, as I mentioned before, we're not only going to have a look actually at the individual week that has gone by. We're going to have a close look at all our platforms. So for the entire month of September, it looks really good. Profits are up, profits are stable. Forex markets has actually calmed down a bit again, and it looks like we are cashing in quite nicely on all the platforms. So please get your favorite beverage in there. This particular video is going to be slightly longer than normal, but I promise you it will be filled with profits. Now, last week we showed you a bit of an update from Yieldnodes. This particular week there's nothing new. The platform looks similar to what we have seen in previous weeks here again. The only thing that we still highlight for you is actually the audit coin reserves that you can go in and have a closer look at. Not that it means much at the moment, because unless there is actually getting a bit of a profit again on the different business opportunities that they were basically trying to present to us over the last year, the coin value is really not going up. The one we are following here at the moment is actually the SAP, and you can see what's happening to this particular one here. Last week we actually left it at, again, this is 7 zeros and a 3, and it looks like also here very little trading has been happening for the past week. Basically gone sideways, and then still ending up slightly lower than where we were in the previous week. So we are doing the staking. That seems to be a lot better way of going forward. So for the past week, we actually had 2 stakings in here. So for the 30th of September and on the 3rd of October in here, 280. So that's good progress. Again, this is not very stable. It's not running like clockwork, but still for the week, we actually managed 2.0% with the 560 SAP that we have in here. Now we're also going to have a look for the month overall here. We have then 4 entries of a total of 840 SAP, and that actually provided 3% for that particular account. You can see again on the graph, September was a pretty much average month in here, similar to June and July. And definitely compared to February, March and April, we are looking a lot better. Now we also have to look obviously for the PNY. So in here we only had 1, and that was on the 30th of September. And if we have a look for the entire week here, so that means that the 133 PNY actually managed 3.6%. So that is definitely very low. But overall for the month we did 3.5, and with about 6 entries here we made 798 PNY, making September a very good month again here, similar to what we had in July. There is a couple of months that shows improvements. So again, August, June and April was slightly better. So again, this is a good, just above average, I believe. So, and that is obviously good enough for us, while we are still waiting for some development on the PNY coin itself. Now we're also going to have a look at the Bitcoin versus USDT. Last week here we left it just around the 64,500 mark. Since then, it was dropping all the way down to 60,000. So, and then it's been rising slowly but steadily again. And as we are shooting this particular video here, it ended up at 63,561. So pretty much almost getting close to the same level as it was the week before. And that is still very good high price for the Bitcoin. It has been fairly stable compared to previous months. Now, one of the items that really is a brand new part here is the Trillant platform. Not that the Trillant platform itself is new, but obviously there's been a Zoom call with the CEO here for Eric Ellie. And again, this particular one here doesn't really go back and explain much why we now need a new platform, why actually we now need a new coin again here, and then basically make a complete transition into something new once again. He is in this particular video here talking about an app and basically also games in here. He's talking about that you are basically able to have your own coins in your own wallet in here. So there's quite a few things that is interesting coming up, but obviously doesn't really explain why it is that we need all these new items in here. Some of it certainly sounds a bit like a word salad, but I believe if you are a member in here, it is very important to just understand exactly what is going to happen, because there are certain deadlines in here. So this is part of the information we got for the Trillant community, and then these are the videos. We have one in English and there's one in German. I'll make sure that that also goes into the text area for the YouTube, so you can go and click it and watch it. The English version is being translated, so it's not Eric that speaks English, but it is pretty reasonable and you should be able to get most of the details out of it. And basically here, as explained by the CEO, we urge you to please transfer all holding of Trillant coins and tokens here back to the Trillant dashboard as fast as possible. The dashboard will be going offline in the end of October, and all values and data will be permanently deleted. Obviously, this is not a very good news, but at the end of the day, something is sometimes better than nothing. On the day, there will be a snapshot which will include the values in the Trillant dashboard and the values of the partner company, Unique Exchange, where we also have some parts in here. And they go further here. According to the snapshots, community is now able to receive a token airdrop of a new independent project. So again, we are going from Paribas, we went to Trillant, now we're going to this particular one, which doesn't have a name yet. But the important part is that you're going to have a closer look at it. So no matter if you like it or not. So basically in between the 1st of October until the 15th of October here, you'll get a chance to basically secure your values. So the first part they're asking you is to complete your KYC on the Trillant dashboard in here. And then you have to give the consent with the value swap and the migration terms and conditions. So please make sure that you read up on those. And then also you will have to provide a new TON wallet receiving address in here. And there is an option for a wallet if you don't have one that can take this already. And then everything has to come through the Telegram Messenger channels in the future. And that's also why they need the username that is apparently linked with part of the games that they are now also launching. And there will also be a trading platform later on, from what I understand. And then we have to pay a token network migration fee. And he basically emphasizes that that is not for him. This is $49. And again, it is up to you if you want to make that transition or not. And obviously here again, it says, since the new token will be on a new blockchain, so the TON blockchain, we recommend downloading the TON Keeper wallet in the App Store, and to create a wallet and create basically the backup for yourself in here. Now, obviously, this particular news on CoinStore, as you can see, hasn't been taken very well. Last week, we left it at 000 after it actually got pumped up a bit again, 1531. Since then, it has dropped and pretty much stopped trading here at all. So at the moment, it's point and then 4 zeros, 196, which is obviously not the right way to go. And it also seems to indicate for a lot of people that, yeah, everything is stopping. They're also stopping all the transitions, and maybe even some of the ones are stop trading with these particular coins to put them back into the platform itself. So there's multiple reasons why you have seen this particular move this week. Now we also see some moves from the Trade Explorer, and that one seems to be doing okay for week 40, $410 or 4.1% on the 10 pair. So definitely still on the move and still cashing in every single week. We can see that we started off with 10,000. Now a long time ago, 510 days ago, 39,286. At the moment there is a profit, floating profit and loss of minus 592, so which is quite high at the moment, but still very much under control for now. And you can see again total returns 244%. So this has been a very good development overall for this particular EA. But we also want to have a look and see exactly for the month of September. And in here we made $880 or 8.8%. And that is also pretty much average of what we've seen the Trade Explorer do. We have obviously seen some months and some weeks where it's doing even better. So if we have a look at the graph overall and we have a look at the weeks, compare them to what we have from prior weeks. Again here 410 compared to the 330 and 318 in here. So things were quite low, and then a couple of months here in August, and just the first week of September is a bit of a mess due to the IG accounts. But these particular numbers should be actually correct. If we have a look also for the month in here, month of September was 880, and that is at a reasonable level, similar to what we saw in June and back also in February. We can see that July and August were some very high numbers, but there were also some very high drawdowns in here. So definitely this is a good and reasonable level that we are back on for this particular EA. The other EA is the Wave Liberator. Also here it seems to have calmed down the waters a bit, even though again the Aussie Japanese is on top for the top 5 EAs with $123 or 12.3% just for the week. That is quite big. New Zealand CAD in second spot with 87 or 8.7%. Euro Great British Pounds $80 or 8%. Euro USD closely after $79, 7.9%. And then Great British Pounds CAD $55, 5.5%. Overall for these top 5 for the week, $423, 8.5%. That is a very good level. And again, we are looking at a good stable profit overall, which you can also see on the graph itself in here. This is still the IG demo that came out a bit wrong on the history part and has ruined this beautiful graph. Balance is up 251, equity 245,000, and we started off with 220. We do have a minus of 5,256 in floating profit and loss, but that's actually quite low and reasonable here at the moment because it would always drag it after itself. Total return 16.4, but the more important numbers are the monthly returns 1.2 and 0.3%. And again, this is because this is running on $10,000 accounts. You can actually go down to $1,000 or $2,000 accounts, and then obviously the profit will also be that much higher. Overall history 415 days in here, so very, very nicely overall. Now we also have to look at the Wave Liberators for the entire month of September. And again here the Aussie Japanese is actually in the lead with $326 or 32.6%. That is mighty high just for 1 month. And then New Zealand CAD, a bit more moderate, $177 or 17.7%. Great British Pounds Japanese, 174 and 17.4%. Great British Pounds USD, $162 or 16.2%. And then Swiss francs Japanese, $158 or 15.8%. Overall, again, if you would have taken these top 5 EA accounts for the month with 5,000, you would have made $997 or 19.9%. That is definitely a hefty return. We really like this particular EA in here. You can find a lot more details on our website as usual, where you can go and have a look at these individual ones, including the 5 EAs that you just saw with the currency pairs. You simply click on it, you get the FX Blue link in here, and then you see the data that we also present to you. Again, the beautiful graph in here, the history we have, and overall all the EAs actually made $803, and that is again at a very good level, slightly lower than what we saw last week where we were 937, but compared to the prior weeks also in here, it is very good, very stable results, and that's all we can ask for. Now, if we have a look also for the month itself to see how that developed, also here $2,543, and again comparing to the prior months in here, it looks pretty well stable. 2,600 for July, 2,790 here for August, and then obviously we now have 2,543 in here. So again, good stable results, especially also when you look back at prior summertime in here. Last time was in April. That's also where we had some high fluctuating markets, but we have made adjustments for the EAs, which is why they're now cashing in a lot better also than what you have seen here in previous months when you go back about 6-12 months. Yeah. RSI Liberator for week 40, also top 5 EAs in here. Great British Pounds Japanese did very well with $228 or 22.8%. Great British Pound Swiss francs $73, so there's a big gap down here, 7.3%. New Zealand Japanese $63 or 6.3%, and then Aussie Japanese $53 or 5.3%. Great British Pounds CAT comes in at $52 or 5.2%. And also here, very good top 5 results with $468 or 9.4% just for that particular week, which is again really, really solid delivery from this particular EA. Now you can have a look and see again, we have 22 accounts with $10,000 each. That is up to 235 here now. Equity at the moment is 230 because the floating profit and loss is at minus 4,858. That is also very low. It hasn't been that low here for actually months, so that is a very good sign. You can see the close profits is actually there. Total returns 4.4%, and then monthly returns 1 and 0.3%. And this particular issue with the IG demo accounts in here that we are running on didn't come out with any results at all, and that's also why you see the monthly results has actually dropped a bit. It is most likely closer to 1.1, 1.2 as it has been in the past. You can see the trade wins at 66%, so very good. And then trades per day is about 20 and a history of 184 days. So really, really strong. As we go and have a look for the month of September for the top 5 EAs, it was actually the Aussie New Zealand that is on top with $230 or 23.0%. Great British Pounds Japanese at $196 or 19.6%, so really, really high in the 20% area. Euro Swiss francs $162 or 16.2%, and then US Japanese actually a bit on the lower side, 142 and 14.2%. Euro USD closing off the top 5 with $139 or 13.9%. Again here, those top 5, if you would have traded those for the past month, you would have made $869 or 17.4%. Extremely good numbers coming out of also the RSI Liberator. And again, you can go and find these top 5s in here and all the other currencies that we are currently trading. You can go and have a look and see exactly what it is we do, which ones are the ones that are producing the best profits overall or the lowest drawdowns. And then you'll see again some of the profit curves in here with the history of 184 days, as we talked about, $769. And then obviously the prior week was slightly higher, 800, then 600 here for September. And then we have a bit of a mix up with the IG accounts in here, but we're also going to have a look for the month. And that actually also seems to be extremely stable. Again, 2,101 compared to prior month, which again might be taken with a grain of salt. And also here for the month of July, very good stable numbers, pretty much the same as we had in June. And June, that was actually a good stable profitable month. So it's good to see that the level continues. Now you can find more details as usual on our website on the Wave Liberator and RSI Liberator. And what we're going to look at here today now is also the PAMM account. We're going to have a closer look and see how that has developed, because that has also had a really good development overall. Again, I have to mention that these are the 2 times where we had a bit of money taken out in the area of 50,000-60,000. And you can see them back here where basically it's been taken off. It looks like losses. They are not. And we also have the weekly profits in here of 2,446. And one of the things again here that we had a week where a bit of profits got taken off. And that's why you can see it looks like a bit of a drop compared to previous weeks, but it's not as bad as it should be. So here, basically, you can see the same profit from the app itself that we are running. And you can see the withdrawal for that particular week was actually 5,000. Now we noticed that that particular day where that was taken out, we were up by more than $600. And then as one of the investors took about 5,000 out here, which is definitely something we recommend doing from time to time to make sure you get yourself risk-free. We ended up with a daily rate of minus 200 instead. So basically there was about $800 of profit in there. And again, that then obscures the results a bit. So it should have been closer to about 3,200 plus or minus a few percent here. That is the best what we could basically get it calculated at. And also again, if we have a look for the entire month, we can see for the month of August in here, there was again a lot of withdrawals, and this is basically that particular peak in here that took away a lot of the profits. So unfortunately, that is how the PAMM account works, and how FX Blue is actually treating the withdrawals here. They basically take away all the profits, which is very, very unfortunate. But if we then have a look at this particular month, there was 12,394 in here. And if we then also compare it again to what has been removed, we can see the profit matches quite well with what we have here. But we had about 18,350 in withdrawal at the end of the day. And if we then have to try and adjust that particular part in here again, it means that we are closer to a profit of about 15,000 overall. So something to always take into consideration when we are trying to show the net profits for the individual account for this particular PAMM. Now also, if we have a closer look at all the PAMM accounts that run with Expert Forex, we can see we're getting close to $600,000 now. So the gains that has been had is 144. And if you have a look, we can see that we have just below 50% of the current balance in here. But on our gains, we are well ahead. And you can actually also see that in gains percentage that has gone up for the past week. It was 23% last week. And ours has also actually moved forwards and moved up to 28.5. So we are well above average. Drawdowns has definitely come down from everybody's side. So that is a really good part. Average drawdown is 22%. Ours is slightly higher, but we are also running quite high gains compared to it. Net gains also has come back into a nice positive that will fluctuate from time to time. So projected annual growth, here it says 48. Again, as you can see, when you are taking the profit out, this number actually drops down again. So because we have been making good profits, people have taken that particular one out also. And that's why you are seeing the numbers continue not to rise as fast as we would like them. If we then take last week's results also into consideration, you can see that we had 208 days. So that's from last week. So last week we were up at 285. And then we actually ended up at 288. Then the 5,000 was taken off again here. And you could also see the gains was last week at 77,866, made it into the 80,000 mark. And then when the 5,000 was taken off, It actually dropped below 80,000 again. But as you can see, despite that, the gains is actually improving. Also, drawdown has improved dramatically in the past week, and that's what we like to see. Now, the last part we want to have a look at is also our lucky trader in here, and we're going to go straight to the week 40 for the top 5 EAs. So we had the Euro Great British Pounds, $539 or 5.4%. So that was a very good week. For that pair, New Zealand USD, $455 or 4.6%. Euro USD, $202 or 2.0%. And then we have Euro Swiss francs, $79 or 0.8%. Overall, those particular 4 in here, not 5, made $1,274 or 3.2%. That's actually quite well for the lucky trader. And if you have a look and see how that development has gone, again, these are the IG demo accounts that has messed it up a bit. You can see the profit is coming in. Monthly returns is currently calculated at 5.2%. And then we have trades per day 16 with a history now of 111. But we also need to have a closer look at for the month of September for the top 5 EAs. And massive in here, New Zealand USD, $1,654 or 16.5%. Euro Great British Pounds is at $698 or 7%. And then Euro USD, $570, 5.7%. And then we had unlucky Euro Swiss francs, minus $25 or minus 0.3%. That is down to some swap fees in here. We made some changes to that. So hopefully that comes out in a better light next month. Overall, $2,896 was made with 9.7%. So a very good development overall. Also here, again, history 111 days. And you can see the 1,274 in here is a lot better than what we had in prior months. We have to go all the way back here to beginning of August, so where we had some higher numbers. If we have a look for the month, also we have 2,896. So also here it looks like it's taking over quite nicely. Again, some of these results that we have here in August is a bit misleading. So because August was a very good month also for the lucky trader, but there was also blown accounts at that particular time. Now, I told you earlier on the bell trading robots that Expert Forex have actually launched. The test is now finished, and that also means that we have to see what is the next step in here. We did some testing actually for this particular EA, both some back testing, and we also did some live testing. One of the things that we actually like about this, and this is now on a daily sheet, so this is going quite far back, as you can see, all the way back here. So June 2022 is you can actually put in your individual grids, so graphically instead, and then figure out what is the top, what is the bottom from what has been traded, and then you try and basically trade on these particular grid lines here instead, compared to what you normally set up in between. Now this is also dynamic, so it will change over time, and it all depends on, of course, how far back you are looking. You might be only wanting to look 6 months back or 12 months back. So this is not one that you should be traded on the shorter time frame. We tried to do that, but it didn't work very well. So it looks like the higher time frames is the one that you have to basically run this particular EON in order to make it work a bit better. We hope, obviously, we're going to have a lot more testing in the future, also more to show you. Now, and that's where Alex's EA came out again here, where he said, you're going to test our $1 million trading robot for the week. And this was a limited offer for the premium members in here. So that is done. And we're moving on to the next part, which is basically optimizations also to figure out how is the best way to do it. So this is a practical working session. It's quite a long video here of more than an hour, but it shows basically from A to Z what it is you have to have a look at, what to take into consideration, and then basically it comes out and how you can create the $1 million robot settings again. So these are easier to find on some EAs than other ones, and basically he's going through all of these items in these particular videos here, so definitely worth having a look at. And that's what we had for you in this week's news report. As you could see, there was plenty of updates. There were plenty of profits in here. We are trying to show you everything as things are coming out. This particular week here for sure, your focus should be, if you're a Trillant member, to go into the platform, log in, make sure you do your KYC, and also have a closer look at the terms and conditions, because you and you alone will basically be able to determine if you want to continue this particular project or not. Now, obviously, there's plenty of other projects also here, including new testing, hopefully for the Bell Trader in the future. We like the setup. We actually like that we can scale back for an entire year and actually put the lines in that for that, as you saw here today. So future is looking bright. We are getting closer and closer to Christmas and New Year's, but we still have quite a few months of trading left. And obviously there's also the US presidential campaign that is coming up now in less than a month, and that might also have some effects on all our trading. So until my next video next week, see you around. Bye bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.